Welcome everybody to Scott Cooks. Today we'll be cooking in our Ninja Foodie quarter loin pork chops in a fig glaze. Let's get started. Well, here's what we got for tonight. This is 1/4 of a pork loin that's been cut into pork chops. We're going to cook this in our Foodie and we're going to smother it in this big glaze. Mostly this is balsamic vinegar. But this has no artificial thickeners, no colors, nothing like that. So this is going to be really good. We're going to do all this using the steam and crisp method, steam crisp. And the reason for that is because we're going to cook our rice underneath of this at the same time we cook our chops. We'll be using our double rack tonight because I think I have too many pork chops to just fit on one rack, so I'm going to stack them up. Take the top rack off for a second. We're going to cover the bottom rack in aluminum foil. You might have seen me do this before. This is pretty much the way you do a steam and crisp with something underneath. You can do a grain, a pasta, whatever. And it just doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So just get it on there. But we do want to trim up the edge because you don't want all this foil running down into your rice or whatever you're cooking down there. So I'm just going to rip it off. Like so. Tuck it under the bottom. Don't poke no holes in it. This is just really to keep the some of the pork juice and the balsamic from getting too far down into the rice. All right. We're going to hit this with a tiny bit of Pam and get our chops laid out on it and smother them with some of this. Now, these are partially frozen. That's not going to hurt anything. With the steam and crisp method, we'll thaw them right out for us. Let's see if I can figure out a way to position a couple of these. That looks pretty good. Back your camera out of here so you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to take our second rack and place it here. Put a couple more chops on top. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get some of our balsamic fig glaze going. I slipped the plate underneath. This might get a little messy. Oh, look at that. Look how thick that is. And that's natural thickness. Pick this up at a specialty food store. I really don't know where you could find that again. Okay, right down on top. Got a couple more of these beauties here. And you're probably wondering, why am I got foil on the bottom and not foil on the top? Well, the foil on the bottom serves two purposes. It stops some of the juices and some of the balsamic that's going to run from getting down there in the rice. We don't care if some gets in it. We don't want it covered in it. And the other thing it does is creates a little steam trap for the rice itself to help cook the rice. Now, obviously, because I'm stacking these, we will be having to remove them from the Foodie frequently, flipping them over. And I may even need to take the bottom ones to the top. All right, to the pot. 1 cup of water. And 1 cup of rice. I'll be using long grain white tonight. You know, I usually use Jesben. But for this dish, I want the long grain white. And at this point, you can add a handful of frozen vegetables or whatever you want to throw in with your rice. And I think I will throw a few veggies in. Just gives you more bang for the buck. Let's see what we can find in the freezer. Well, yummy. Look what I found in the freezer. Broccoli, carrots, and water chestnut blend. I'm going to get about a cup of this vegetable in there with the rice, right down there with it. I'm just going to get a quick guesstimated measurement here. That'll do. Give that a little stir. And we're going to put our chops right down in the pot. And whenever you're putting big old chunks of vegetables and stuff in the pot, you need to go ahead and give the rack a spin and make sure you're sitting level, because it could be sitting up on top of a carrot or something like that, and it's not going to cook quite right. But there we go. All right, often when you're doing this kind of cooking in your Foodie, there's nothing to really go by. There's no other precedent. So what we're going to do is take 390 and 20. We're going to take the default, actually, with steam and crisp. Let me show you how this operates. There's a lever, a slider up top. Far left is pressure, steam crisp, steam bake. And if I go all the way to the right, that's everything else, sous vide, sear saute, etc., etc. Steam and bake, steam and crisp. 390, 20 minutes. At 10 minutes, we are going to pull it out, flip everything around. It's going to be a little messy, but it's what we got to do because the way that we have this stacked. And that's just the way that we cook, and I'm completely used to it. I flip stuff around all the time. Let's go, guys. All right, preheat is going to take 7 to 10 minutes. It'll build up the steam, and once the steam starts, the air fryer up top will start as well. And I do want to show you one quick thing. All right. This position is irrelevant in steam and crisp. It doesn't matter where it is. It makes no difference at all because our steam is coming out of here. This is in the back. So make sure you're prepared for that. Make sure this is not underneath of anything you care about. Very hot. A whole lot of steam is going to come out of there. Well, there we go, straight out of the Foodie. I did flip these at about 10-minute mark. Took the bottom chops to the top to the bottom. Rice just stayed in there the entire time. Mixed with the veggies, it looks perfect. And let's get a close-up on that pork loin chop. The dark color you're seeing is from the fig balsamic vinegar. Let's cut into it, see how we're doing. Little fat piece there. Let's get into the white meat. I've already temperature probed it. Came out just about perfect. Nice glaze from the balsamic. And that's the piece we're going to eat. All right, here we go. It's a pretty big piece, but I'm going to try it anyway. Oh, yeah. That is really good. Tender, juicy. I think everything I've ever cooked with the Ninja Foodie Steam and Crisp method, it just comes out juicy. It's just something about that steam and the air fryer combination. I don't know what. Let's give a rice a quick try. Now, it's not the first time I've done rice in here. And you may have noticed that the rice looks brown now. Well, why is that? Well, it's because some of the juices from the pork and the balsamic have dripped down in there intentionally, adding that extra flavor. Outstanding.